And we are live! This is episode 29 of Studio Synergy. And with me is someone who hasn't been here for a little bit, Carrie!
Hello! Hi, everybody. I'm Carrie, and I don't even know how to introduce myself anymore. It's been so long. But I'm an artist, and I work. You can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Google Plus and YouTube, and you can also find me on DeviantArt and Tumblr, and probably other places I can't remember right now.
Welcome back.
Yep.
And we have Eric.
Hello.
Hey, there he is.
Yep, I had myself muted for a moment, but yeah, I'm Eric. You can find me pretty much just look up my name, and I'm on Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all that stuff. I do comics and freelance artwork.
Cool. And we have Pippa.
Hello, I'm back again after last week. I'm an independent reviewer and Kickstarter supporter, and I work for the Ghoul Guides, doing all sorts of projects with independent artists.
Awesome. And I am Peter Palmiotti, which you can read in front of my screen. So let's see, what do I want to say? I got this book, Earth Outlaws. It was a Kickstarter recently. Have another issue coming to me soon, but good piece of work. Good, gorgeous artwork. It's the back cover, it's the front cover. You can see more, just type in Earth Outlaws. A lot of people worked on this. It's very pretty. Just wanted to mention that. We got, okay, speaking of Kickstarter, we got the MEEK is ending, I believe, in like 46 hours, something like that. It just passed 100 grand. It's really worthwhile product. There's other ones. I'll put a bunch of links down below. I was informed recently of Kickstarter for Shadow Flame, a book by Joe Martino, which I did work on. That's going to be made into a trade and kickstarted. So I'll let you know exactly when that starts up. But I believe it's like middle of this month. And yeah, this you know, every time I look like at the list of Kickstarter comic books, there's at least 100 or so going on, and of course, you know, having like 5,000 friends on Facebook, I get all invites and messages. Hey, I got a Kickstarter, which is great, but I'm not a rich man, so I can only share most of them, but that's okay. People appreciate that. But yeah, so
right.
Just rather quickly, Daniel, who created and is the writer for Untold, the book I'm inking, might be joining us. But briefly, over the past week, I got this brand new printer and it just didn't get started. And it looks like, you know, 99.9999% sure it just doesn't work because it was probably damaged in shipping or something. Everything looks okay, but nothing is really working on it. Other than blinking lights.
Blinking lights!
Blinking lights, which William Shatner loved.
Yeah, the sad light of no worky.
So I took a road trip yesterday. I'll probably post. I started a unboxing for the printer and just ran into all the technical end of it. But I'll probably post it as a unboxing printer fail. And I have a little clip of us driving home from Elizabethtown, where we went to go to Staples yesterday just to get what we have penciled already printed out onto crystal paper for me to ink. So yeah, that was a whole almost a real waste of a week. Just nothing else was going right, and I don't care. Moving on. Stuff happens.
Onwards and upwards.
Yep. So anything?
You can just,
Go ahead.
as I say, you could just harbour hatred for HP now. And their printers.
That's what I do.
I love HP. I mean, I have a printer scanner that I don't use as a printer. I use it strictly as a scanner, and that's an HP. And I never had a problem with that. My computer is an HP, and this is brand new HP Pavilion all-in-one gas. I love it. Just this printer, it could have been. I think it came via Amazon, so it could have been Amazon's fault. We could blame them. I used to work for them.
Well, if it's Amazon's fault, you can.
Amazon workers juggling printers.
You can contact them though, and they'll take it back.
Yeah. Just hopefully it'll arrive in time for you to get on and do stuff and not be too frustrated with everything that's happening.
But it's like, as far as like buying new electronics and bringing it home and just plugging it in and working with it, I've never had an issue before. It's something that was brand new. So that's what boggled my mind. It's like I would spend a couple hours working on it and just like have to walk away. My head starting to hurt, but
and sometimes it could just be manufacturer error. Like I've had things that literally just came from the factory. They were messed up, and unfortunately, it does happen.
Yeah. There is some reports that it could be like Windows had a big update, and it could be with the update.
I had that with my
regardless.
printer, and Windows 10 messed it up. I had to get a new driver. It was the driver that it wiped out.
Yeah. I tried everything. I had, like I said, I had my other printer scanner hooked up to this computer, and I totally erased everything that had to do with that, thinking it might be blocked or something, but that had zero effect. So I'll have to reinstall all that. But
Oh, the joys of computers.
So you've had a really fun week.
yeah.
Oh.
So on the good side of news, I had I broke 1K on Instagram.
Hey! Congratulations.
Yeah, so I'm gonna probably do some kind of contest. I'll post about it hopefully tomorrow. But yeah, it's like some sites gel with you, some sites don't. Tumblr I'm coming around to finally. But Instagram was an instant love for me. It just works. I just love the way it's set up and formatted and whatnot. So I love that it's an active.
So I don't do enough art or take enough photos to really use. And I mean, I suppose I probably end up deleting half the photos I take before I've actually done anything with them. But yeah, I haven't used Instagram much. Tumblr, it confuses the crap out of me. I just kind of looked at it and went, no, Leaf, you can deal with the Tumblr page. I'll deal with. So she got Tumblr and Instagram, and I got Facebook and Twitter to deal with. So we kind of split the work. But yeah, so I mean, Facebook's going okay. I mean, we hit 200 likes this week, so that's kind of cool considering we only started in April. So that's coming on really well. Still not enough people on YouTube yet, but I haven't put out any video. I'm supposed to put out some videos later on today. I've got stuff to review, but so far I have sat on my backside and played games today.
You know what we should do? Like, give me all your links. Like, after the show, post all your links into the Facebook chat group, and I'll put them in the video description box.
Okie dokie, that's awesome.
Your Facebook, your YouTube, your Tumblr, your everything. That goes for all of you and whoever else joins the show. Hopefully you'll watch.
No, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
it's
doesn't
getting there
cost anything.
slowly. So you think I'd be able to sort that out, considering I'm brilliant at advertising everybody else's stuff? You know, I'm alright with everybody else's, and I'm alright promoting everybody else's, and it's like, hi, actually, I'm still here, though. Don't forget my stuff.
I do things.
Yeah, well, actually, I've mostly been working on my book this week. Well, reading what I've written so far, because I still have a hell of a long way to go, and I needed to sort of remind myself, because I haven't been writing for a year. I had to remind myself where I was and what my characters are like, and so I could get back into the right frame of mind with it. So that's been a lot of fun.
Did you describe that here? You're writing fiction story?
Yeah, it's a fiction story. It's a sci-fi, fantasy, horror fiction story about 6 interconnected universes or worlds, and the fight to save them from one of the worlds that's gone a little bit awry and killed the crap out of the others. And it's also based in the premise of humans being fallible and how we can be corrupted so easily, sort of leading to major national tragedies and things like that. But it all focuses on like this one girl that accidentally kind of falls down the rabbit hole and ends up sort of falling upon this sort of battle that's sort of unseemly going on, and how she deals with that, and how important it is for that one person to be there. You know, it's a lot of fun to write, and the characters, I love writing really awkward, stupid characters with terrible senses of humor. And it's like reading it back at the moment, and I'm like reading things, and I'm like, oh, I actually do say that, like things that I actually say. And I'm like, I forgot I'd written that into this book, that this character says things that I say, okay. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. It's like I've got some of my favourite things. It's just like the main guy in the book is just, he's the awkward older brother type guy. Like he gets injured and his sister helps heal him, and he's like annoyed because he won't have a nice scar to show off at like the local pub / bar anymore. To go, hey, look at me, you know. He's like, why did you have to heal it so well? I would have at least preferred a scar, you know. Come on, give me something to work with here. But yeah, it's a lot of fun to write them.
Cool. It's like one of the things. Like I went to, high school of art and design in New York, and did 2 years of college. Well, high school I did cartooning and animation. College was advertising art, and I was flooded with art courses, and sort of like got into other things right after. I only went 2 years. I didn't finish. It was a 4-year college, but I immediately got into other things, one of which was writing. I got into computers at that time. I wish I would have stayed with it. I would have been so ahead of the curve. But it's like I love writing. I could just get totally immersed. Problem is editing. Editing is like a bitch and a half.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, especially in editing a novel. It's like it's just really I started a couple of novels, and I do want to go back to. I think I did a NaNoWriMo 2014. I want to say, or 15, or 14, I guess. And I started a novel, and it's like well thought out in my head, I got a lot of notes, but it's mostly just, I would wake up and write, and it covers the first, couple of chapters, I guess, but it's like I kept thinking, like, okay, I really need to write an outline for this because it's for it to really carry to certain places. I got to know exactly the points to hit, not just have a general idea.
Yeah. No, I completely understand that. Just like for me, I've got to find mine. It's in a pile down here. It's like I took 3 months out to write the general, like I had the general idea, and then I took like 3 months out to write that's like what the story is or what I want it to be. It's not got every detail because things change, but it's like even down to like sticking artwork in because I want to be able to see more clearly and explain. I wanted to be able to explain if somebody asked me why somebody did something, I'd be able to go, it's because they're like this. Or, but also I can put you in contact with some really good editors if you wanted, because I know because see through get my word out, through Kickstarter and everything. The first kind of groups of people I ended up becoming friends with were authors and editors and publishers, and now I seem to have fallen into the world of fantastic artists, which is also just as amazing. But yeah, if you wanted to speak to some editors about stuff, I could definitely put you in contact with some really good ones, and they're all nice people. So
yeah, well, I would like to show them at least the first draft, and not just like, here's some random notes I made.
Oh no, definitely. I mean, the process that you're really supposed to do. So you're supposed to write out the rough draft, and it doesn't matter if that's just bits that are bullet pointed. Sort of, you could write, 3 chapters that are exactly how you want it, and then just stick in a load of bullet points for another chapter because you're not sure. Yeah. Then you're supposed to go back and rewrite it again. Then you're supposed to have somebody else read it and tell you what they don't like. You change that. Then you write it again, let somebody else read it. And if they're all right with that, then you look for the editor. So it's that taking the time to make sure everything is gone. So I mean, I'm enjoying reading it back and I've had an audience recently listening while I've been reading it back. So it's like nice to get the opinions of other people, knowing, sort of, because nobody's ever heard my story before. I've never read it to anyone before. I've never let anyone read it before. So for me, it's very different to kind of open up that side of me and let somebody know what I've been sort of thinking about and writing about. So. Yeah, it's good. You should, let people hear what you've got ideas-wise, and you find that you'll bounce off people with more. You find it so quick sort of getting the rest of your ideas down and getting your plot there, and it's a lot of fun escaping into that your own kind of world.
Yeah, I found what I was doing was just like going down other avenues. And sort of developing more story, but it had nothing to do with the story I had in mind. So I guess what they call rabbit holes, I guess, maybe. But,
well, no, that's great, because it's like when somebody's writing a screenplay, they come up with a group of ideas of what they'd like to have in it, things that sort of excite them. It's a matter of making them match up, or what I was recommended to do by Joe Meinhardt. He owns Crystal Lake Publishing. He recommended that I, in the meantime, write short stories to help clear my head of things and any other ideas that don't fit, do something with them. But to write short stories about your characters, because it's nice to explore their backgrounds. So some of those ideas you may find that, it's a previous journey they've been on, or it's something they've done. But it also helps get the audience prepared for this full story. They know about your characters. They can start to get an affinity for them.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's worked for me. I'm coming up with like weird little stories about my characters and the stupid things they do and how they've ended up in the position they're in. And it's, yeah. See, I wish I could draw. That would be great, But I just kind of try and get it down on pen and paper my own way.
Well, writing's, a tougher skill in some ways, Anybody can draw.
Yes, but you need to add, like, sort of draw well, or adequately, or more than a stick man who looks like a tripod.
Or make a living from it. That's that's the hard part.
I could make a living from my drawing. I could just sort of get people to pay me to berate me about how bad it is. You know, they get the angst out, and I get paid.
It works.
Art. That's what it is.
But I mean, do you want to write like full novels, or do you want to write your own graphic novels, as in story-wise, or?
I mean, I'm as it is. I got a lot of projects I want to do. I don't need to add a graphic novel to that. Although I would love to do a graphic novel at some point way down the line. Just strictly like, here's a big story, but it's all one story, and it's all, there won't be multiple volumes or more issues to this. Kind of graphic novel like I grew up with. Yeah, I would love to write novels. Just, just regular. It's like one of the writers I'm, the biggest fan of is Stephen King. I love a bunch of, I guess, more science fiction writers. Is more my taste. But I love his horror. And it has nothing to do with being a fan of horror, which I don't really consider myself a fan of horror per se. I like stories that are well done, and some of them happen to be horror.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
I'm big on the horror genre.
Yeah.
Big horror fan. But yeah, I mean, it's like my favorite book is Clive Barker's Weave World, and that's sci-fi, not horror, But I mean, I grew up. I was the kid the kid in the Gardens of the Galaxy with the Walkman with David Bowie tapes, and sitting on my floor reading like Goosebumps and Shivers books. That was me at 7 years old. Instead of playing with toys, I had books, and like my room is just stuffed with comic books and graphic novels and all sorts of weird things. It's like you were saying before about how you've kind of studied drawing all the way through from high school, was it? Or
I grew up drawing. I probably started when I was 3, maybe even 4. But I wasn't serious about it until I started as a career. Even though, like, I went to a serious high school for art, and I had to put a portfolio together for it to get into the high school. They graded the portfolios, and it may have something to do with, fortunately, unfortunately, that year. I mean, I've seen a lot of what other kids at the same year I went in were showing, as their portfolios, and a lot of them were laughable, to the point where they were doing drawings on line, paper, and just ridiculous. That's like no sort of presentation, no sort of, anything to it.
it was just there.
Yeah, and I'm sure that, like, it changes from year to year. I'm sure more, maybe some years it's more challenging because of the group of kids going in at that particular time. Now, like, once I was in the high school, I got to know a number of people, the kids going to school there, and some were really, really phenomenal. One of them, who was in my class, this guy Jerome Moore, went on to work for DC Animation. I mean, he was a pro back then. I think he did some artwork for Star Trek.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and but like, I always loved art. Me and my brother Jimmy, got into comics around the same time. Like our father was a big component in bringing us to comic convention. He brought us to our first comic convention in New York. He once came home and gave us a stack of comics and said that it fell off the back of a truck or something. He was just
Yeah.
he was just really supportive of our love for comics and whatnot. And so it's like I doodled comic book characters and whatnot, but really just not that it wasn't a hobby. It was something more than that to me. But it wasn't, I feel like it wasn't until I was in my later 20s that I really got serious about anything. And it just so happens it was serious. I became serious about art.
Sorry, I'm trying not to monopolize any more conversation.
I knew that, like I wasn't that great at what I did like I started when I was 28, so I don't think I was a great artist at that point. I know for a fact I wasn't that great of an inker per se, but I knew if I dedicated myself to it that I would master it and be able to get work. And it had nothing to do with some people think, oh well, your brother field and he's already immersed in it and he can get you work, or why don't you ask your brother to get you work. And I always took my own path and relied on my own abilities to do what I have to do, do what I want to do. So it's like I work long days and weekends, and frankly what I do now. But now it's about not necessarily trying to look for work, although things come my way, and opportunities or gigs. I'm trying to essentially create a small publishing company, which is Human Art Studio. Has comics, and and I know, like, I know there's been plenty of struggles, and I've talked about this recently in videos, and I mean, if you watch them all together, I'm sure it's a nightmare. But I'm looking down. I'm not really looking at the screen. I'm just doodling, and thinking. But I really want to make my own mark and not conform to what's worked for others necessarily, because I know at the core of what I'm developing and putting forth that I'll have the ability to do it and do it correctly. I know I've been stumbling thus far. I don't mind being honest and upfront about every little, fall or trip I take along the way. I do recommend to other people not to follow my path, but it's what I'm trying to do is very challenging, and would be so for anybody, but it's what gets me up in the morning and gets me excited. So, if I lose, I lose.
You did it your own way.
Yeah, I can, I can face myself in the mirror in the morning, knowing, I did it my own way, exactly. It was another point. Just I don't know. I really love what I do, and a big part of that is taking my own path to it.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
think that's good.
yeah. I will admit though, like the money I make could be way better, and business is a serious side to art and comics and writing and all that. And that's something I plan on doing a lot better sooner than later. So, I'm sort of making a goal of this year to improve everything. And, it's like if I get to the end of this year and I'm not doing squat, then I don't deserve to be on this earth.
Oh, don't say that.
In
Can you
a,
just try something different?
yeah, no. I'm just saying that in the sense of like, it's like I've been a professional for whatever it is, 25 years or so. It's like I know a lot about how things work, and I know a lot about business, and I know a lot just from keeping my eyes and ears open along the way. Not even following my own career closely, but seeing what other people were been up to even before the internet and all that. You know, I know I can do really well, and I will. So there's that.
You will. You'll do it. Well, if you're considering you've been in this for so long and you seem so incredibly passionate about what you're doing, I'm sure you will do it. You've just got to find that thing that pushes you further this year than ever before. And I mean, as they say, it's fine to be kind of like standing on the outside watching things, but it's better to just kind of throw yourself in the middle, because that's where they're most creative, when they're kind of drowning and having to fight for it rather than just having it handed to them.
Yeah, I mean, my attitude really early in my career um, was really just like go for it 110%. Like there is no other exit. There is no other way to make money. I gotta become the best comic book inker I could be, and by doing so, get work and keep busy and all that.
See, my degree, and I'm hating to like monopolize the conversation, so it's like my degree. No, my lamp's still going. I I'm a classical composer and vocalist by qualification, degree, everything like that, and I do nothing with it at all. Really, I have music that's out there, and I mean, and I majored in composing for film and games, because I don't like writing songs. I like writing like big extended pieces of music, and it all sounds like it belongs in Final Fantasy or Zelda or something like that. I mean, that's what I wanted to do for a very long time, and I realized that I just did not know enough about the business to get into it. So I still do that alongside everything, but it took me a very long time to realize how much I love writing, because as somebody who is likely to have undiagnosed dyslexia, according to my university professors, because I write sentences backwards, or I drop into spoonerisms where you muddle up letters of words when you're talking. I do this quite a lot. So I've always just kind of found myself going, right, well, I guess I just need to work harder if I'm doing something wrong. But I love writing. I really, really enjoy it. I love getting my thoughts out there. And having worked with so many people recently who really do put everything out there. I mean, I've read stuff that I can't review. But it's knowing that people can put that out there. It makes me feel more confident in my ability to say what I want to say or to do what I want to do. I think it's the same with art, When you have a chance to sort of sit and look around at what everybody else is doing, I can imagine that it probably fill you with the confidence to go, right, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do what I'm passionate about. I am going to put these ideas out there. Damn it if somebody doesn't like them.
Yeah. Definitely. How do you feel about that, Carrie?
I totally agree. I've spent too long not following my dreams, not following my passions. That yeah, that you have to just put it out there, and whatever it is, it is.
Yeah. And you know, it's like I've seen your work, Carrie, and um, you're really good. You're really talented. I mean, you know, it's like you presented one style, I think, initially when I first
Yeah.
got to know you a little bit, and then I saw some other work that you did, and it's like, wait a minute, that's the same person.
I get bored
You,
easy.
like you have diverse styles, and I could, you know, it takes a little bit of a scope of a person's work to really know how capable they are, and I was really impressed, and I can't wait for you to do new work once you settle in.
Oh, thank you. Well, hopefully, yeah, hopefully now that things have kind of settled down, I can get back into it. I'm trying to do daily drawings, even if it's just a little sketch or a little cartoon, just to keep going and just to keep myself, pushing myself to do something. So, but hopefully I can get back to actually creating a comic.
Yeah, yeah. Me too.
It's like a marathon instead of sprinting.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think Eric dropped off, came back.
It idled me.
Hello.
Welcome back.
It literally just takes me a second to pop back in anyway, so it's not.
Yeah. You're almost done with your 100 days of making art.
Yes. Today is 96, I believe. And I'm deciding to finish off these last 5 days since I've been doing nothing but Dragon Ball anyway. I just decided, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to draw the 5 members of the Ginyu Force. I'm not going to do their like crazy pose that they do, like their like signature pose thing that they do yet. I'm just going to do bust shots of each one, and then maybe a couple days or so after my 100 days is over, I'll do the actual like full-on collage. I'll do a background and everything. For now, I've at least finished today's drawing with Jace.
There you go.
That's
Yay.
cool. I think the collage one will be great.
Yesterday I drew Raccoon.
That one was cool as well.
I think I still have it on here.
Somebody's singing.
Yeah, Dad's watching stuff.
Okay.
Guess they gotta do the anthem. No, it's the national. Okay, this is the Raccoon
not my
I drew.
Oh, that's really cool.
Okay, I'm just gonna mute myself for a moment until that's over.
Yeah, I might get flagged for popping up.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what someone's singing. It's a national anthem. Oh, yeah, not mine. I don't know.
I think I mentioned it. It's like I love to just randomly sing, but I don't remember lyrics to anything, so I just make up stuff on the fly.
All right. Yeah, that's great when you're writing comedy songs and you just kind of like throw stuff in there. It's I like doing comedy songs. I mean, I spent a long time gaming and playing as a guy, because when you're a guy, nobody judges what you say, and you can get away with saying a lot of things more than when people treat you as a woman. So I spent a long time pretending to be a guy when I played games, so I could indulge my sense of humor. And I found that now it's just grown and grown, and I have a terrible sense of humor now, but that sometimes ends up sort of with songs, because I'll hear a song and I'll end up sort of falling into changing the lyrics and then realizing it's not something I could ever sing in front of anybody ever.
Just sing Stephen Lynch songs. Those are already horrible.
Yes, they are. That is very true. But no, I don't sing very often. I get quite shy. Even though I know I'm like qualified, it's just, yeah, I get shy singing in front of people. There's like a couple of videos out on my Facebook recently because I was berated until I would put some videos up. But yeah, it makes me nervous.
The internet could be a horrible place.
Yeah.
I quite like the internet. I've not met anyone scary yet. Really, that's probably because I've not been on Omegle or any of those things. But no, it's like I think I've been relatively lucky. Almost everybody I've spoken to through Google Guides has been really, really fantastic and helpful. And now I'm at the point where people are actually asking me to review things, like coming to me to review things. I'm finding it really weird that people care about what I'm doing. Because before it was just Leaf and I decided that we wanted to do something to kind of give back to the horror and alternative community, because it's something that we've loved for years. I mean, we've been best friends for like 15 years, or we've been really close friends for 15 years. So, yeah, we wanted to kind of give back to it, and now people care about what we're doing. It's a really unusual place to be for me. I'm used to nobody knowing who I am or caring what I'm doing, and all of a sudden I'm popular, and it's strange.
Just wait until your subscriber count gets up into the thousands. Then it starts getting interesting.
Yeah, because I mean, you're like well over 6,000, which is just a crazy number of people.
Yeah.
I don't want to meet the scary people.
Yeah.
I haven't met those, thankfully.
It's bad enough getting sent random pictures from people you don't know on Facebook, but yeah, no, I don't need that elsewhere on the internet.
What do I want to say? Oh, you mentioned Clive Barker before. Just briefly, I know any story of any quality, goodness to it, I've probably told it 100 times already. But back, I don't know, earlier in his career, you know, let's see, I'm going to say 2000, maybe 1999. I think he was around then. I went to a bookstore signing. I think it was for Forbidden Planet, if I'm correct. So it was in New York, and he was signing books, and it was just weird. It was like, I don't, normally do that sort of thing, and then I do it, and for whatever reason, I started talking to a couple of kids in front of me and a couple of kids in back of me, and we formed a whole little group that kept in touch for a couple of years. But I got him to sign some books, and about a month later, it just so happened he had 2 comic book convention signings in New York. And I probably brought a small stack of comics to the first convention, and by the time I showed up at the third convention, he was like, "Hey, Pete, how's it going?"
Oh,
He's
brilliant.
like,
That's awesome.
he just recognized it. It's like, you again.
That's one of those moments you're like, oh, that's who I am.
Yeah.
It was the most awesome, author signing I went to, because he remembered.
I've never been to an author signing, and I've only met a couple of celebrities, and those are weird experiences, like getting signatures in weird places as a teenager. But that's a whole other story. But it's like one of the books I'm reading at the moment, he's actually in. Ugh. Don't know if you see this one out and about. That's a Crystal Lake one that I've been reading, and that's got Clive Barker in it as well. It's one of those anthology books, but it's actually really good. It's horror though, so it's whether you want to read horror. But I know the first story in this is really, really, really dark. Yeah, it's a bit of a interesting book, but again, it's like I'm going to, I suppose my first kind of remote meeting with an author whose book I've read and loved will be 15th of October. I've been invited to a Halloween party of an author whose book I've read. And he throws this huge Halloween party every year, and you have to be costumed, and it's being set up like the hotel from American Horror Story at the moment, and everything's like, yeah, it's just going to be really, really interesting. And I've agreed to go as a nurse from Silent Hill. So that's going to be weird, but he's going as like Mr. March, and his fiance's going as the Countess, and it's just going to be absolutely amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that. But he wrote the first book I actually reviewed for the channel, so that was really cool. That one. No, it's actually a really good book. You might like this book, actually. It's not a horror book. It's very clever. It's about the idea that God and the devil decide that they're going to come down to Earth and live as people for 1 year, and it's about their experiences living as people, and who's going to learn the most. You know, that's the bet. Who's going to learn the most from humanity, being a human. And it's a really interesting story. It's good.
Well, I wish I read more, and I got to force myself to get back into it, because I read randomly here and there. I have books I started and haven't finished. I take books out of the library and return them because I haven't read anything. Intera, go away. No, stop. Opening links. I don't want links.
Your computer's rebelling.
She's got a minor on. But what was I going to say? Just, I have no idea. She can.
Creative bot gone.
Creative bot gone. Yeah, I wish I read more. Essentially, is what it is. I already have a stack of books I want to read. I've got to get it. You know, it's like I got a stack of comics I got to read for that matter. Oh, I know what I was going to say. You know, I used to live in New York. I'm from New York. And I used to travel by train everywhere. So, you know, I used to live everywhere in New York. But I used to spend at least a couple hours on a train every day if I was traveling, you know, anywhere. And that's where all my reading was. Unfortunately, I don't have that here. You know, it's kind of really the best thing is to read a book on a train. I don't know. It's just, you know, it's the rattling in the train. I just get immersed in your emotion, but you're not. You know. It's a beautiful experience. I recommend it to everybody. But now it's like, you know, I'll just sit in a corner. It doesn't make sense. I like to lie down in bed and read a book. You know,
I was convinced
good
to
light.
get a Kindle. I don't like electronic reading devices. I like books. Like, I love just the physical feel of having a book, which sounds like a weird thing, but I like books. I'd rather have something physical than something online. But I was I was convinced to get a Kindle by Joe. And I'm hopefully going to be reviewing some books for them soon. But yeah, I miss when I used to travel a lot and I would read, because I used to fly over to the USA like 2 or 3 times a year, and when I'm on the plane, you know, that's 8 hours sometimes. I would just sit and read and read and read. But my problem is I'm a really emotional person, so I would get so invested in the book, and if something happens, I'd be there like crying on the plane, and people are just so looking at this girl who's like crying in the corner, and it's like, oh, what's wrong with this one now, you know? So I try to read like nothing that's going to strike me when I'm sort of in public, because I will just cry, or I will get like super excited and just be sitting there like, ah! So, yeah, it's never good.
And so you mentioned Halloween. We did a Halloween party here in town. You know, it was like a little over a year ago that the comic store moved into town and set up, and they're having another Halloween party. We did last year. We're going this year. We're not exactly sure what we're going to be. Like Lisa's thing is, you know, my girlfriend, fiance, her thing is horror. Her thing is like horror, zombies. She's in 100,
Good
110%.
choice.
Yeah.
I highly approve.
So we're a very good match in many ways. So she's into doing makeup, doing costumes. We might have some vague ideas, but you know, I want to do something like really cool. So we'll see. We'll work on it. We got time.
Oh, you gotta think of so many things you could go as. So I just picked something nice and simple because I can just buy a dress online. Because it's not like at Halloween there's generally a shortage of nurse outfits, to be honest. God, there's so many things you could go as. I mean, the big thing at the moment, I suppose, is going to be It, with that being re-released soon with was it Bill Skarsgård as Pennywise, and that's going to be fantastic.
There's only one Pennywise.
Oh. Tim Curry, he is a god. I love Tim Curry. I like Tim Curry in a corset and fishnet stockings, so, you know, Tim Curry is just amazing. It's in my top 3 films, you know.
That's an amazing film.
Yep.
He looks so good. I'm jealous of his legs. I am majorly jealous of his legs. If I looked that good in fishnet stockings, I'd be sorted for life, you know, but no, he's an amazing actor, and I think it's brilliant that he's involved in the new Rocky Horror Picture Show as well. He's playing the professor in the wheelchair because unfortunately he had a stroke I think 2 years ago, and so he's now wheelchair bound. But he's getting involved in it, which I think is brilliant.
Cool.
Yeah, I know far too many things, far too much random stuff about stuff that nobody needs to know about.
That's cool. You know, it's like I love sitting back and watching movie trailers. You know, for 1,000 movies I'll never see. Something relaxing and exciting about it.
Well, with movie trailers today, there's a lot of really bad ones where they end up just giving you the whole freaking movie
Yeah.
in the trailer, and it's just like, oh, thank you. Now I know what your movie's about. I don't need to watch it anymore.
Well, you know, it's like today. It's like any movie you're interested in, you're going to hear about it a year in advance and details as they come up. And oh, who signed up to play this part? And who cares? And I just want to go see the movie.
Sorry, I noticed a book. Doesn't matter. It was just a book that's being released. I happen to be friends with an artist that, not an artist, an author that works with unusual stories, and it's just I don't know if he's releasing it or whether he's something to do with it. I don't know. It's called Frankenhooker, so it's a mix between Frankenstein and a hooker. And I'm just looking at this thing. I was kind of shocked by that. Sorry, I was just a little bit shocked by but yeah. I was just like, okay. Not what I was expecting to scroll past, but okay. Halloween. If only we celebrated it properly in the UK. That's something I miss about being over in America. Nobody really does pumpkins. Nobody goes trick-or-treating. If you knock on somebody's door in the middle of the night, they're mostly going to call the police. At least there's no guns, you know, so there's less accidents. But, yeah, Halloween's, it's just a shame it's not a big thing over here. And I miss pumpkin spice stuff.
Yeah, we've already got all the pumpkin spice out over here.
Yeah.
I'm jealous
You go
of
to the
that.
store and there's just like walls of everything's pumpkin flavored.
See, I always find it weird, like on Boxing Day, while I was over in America, it's like everything would be out for Valentine's Day. It's like you'd have like Santa next to like love hearts and weird erotic chocolate sculptures, and I'm just like, no. But it was always sort of like one of those weird things I noticed while I was over there. It's just like, okay, your holidays start really early. You know, we don't have anything.
Months
Every year. Earlier and earlier every year.
See, we go from Easter to Christmas. That's it. Because we don't have Thanksgiving. We don't do 4th of July. We just scowl and wish you guys like Timor. But it's just like, yeah, you guys have Thanksgiving and 4th of July and big Halloween stuff. And we just go, have chocolate, happy Easter, have chocolate, happy Christmas. You know, and that's kind of it. In between there, we just kind of like go, wow, the weather's nice, isn't it? Oh yes, it's lovely. Might need an extra layer on today. Yes, I think so. Oh, look, it's Christmas. You know, we miss out on all the holidays.
So when we went to E-Town yesterday, we stopped by a place called Kirkland's. It's slightly religious, but more like Pier 1 imports, kind of just stuff for your home. And it was all Halloween stuff. And it was like, me and Lisa, I mean, we literally had an awesome time taking this trip and should have done it long ago. It's good to get out of town. It's been a while. But yeah, we went through everything in the store, just looking at everything. And it's like, yeah, if we had money, we'd buy half this crap and not have room for it. But then we went to Michael's because I needed to pick up some comic book paper. And I picked up this shirt. It's like the first shirt I've bought in a while. It's purple, so it goes with my purple theme.
Purple.
And picked up a couple of other things.
I love how easy it is to just derail a thought sometimes. just yell something random. People are like, what?
So
awkward silence.
well, we're going to be ending this soon, but does anybody have
I actually got to go eat soon, so.
okay, anything exciting they want to share?
No, other than the ICE thing that I'm going to next weekend, meeting artists and generally probably interviewing lots of people about their work. That's really all I've got coming up in the future, I think. Other than the fact that I'll be moving at some point soon and hopefully having a studio of some kind rather than doing everything from sitting on my bed. So it's not the classiest of arrangements at the moment, but it gets the work done. So.
Yeah. Only thing exciting for me is I'll almost be done my 100 days, and then after that I'm gonna try and get back into some type of workflow because I want to start doing. Just in general, I just want to start doing tutorials again on YouTube because I miss doing those. Like not just comic books, just in drawing in general, just all sorts of stuff, and then hopefully get something started. Because I did a plot summary for the first issue of Heroes Guild. But you know, I haven't actually drawn pages yet, so I would love to get art, pencils on page, get something. Even if it's just a bunch of roughs for each page, I want to get something to say that, hey, I'm doing something.
So it's a good start.
Yeah, I don't know how exciting it is, but I will be tabling at Treasure Coast Comic Con, which is a little tiny con in South Florida. So, like I said, well,
hopefully the weather does y'all good.
Yeah. It's a little nerve-wracking because there'll be a lot of people that I actually know. We're at another con. I went to Heroes Con this year as well, and it wasn't as bad because I didn't know anybody. So if people just walked by and ignored me, I didn't care.
now you know people, so it's like, oh
now
no, you know how weird I am. Oh.
Yes, exactly. Oh no.
No, but if they walk past, you'd be like, no, look at me. Look at what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You met Kenny Keene now, right?
I did meet, yeah, and his son. He came along too. It was actually kind of fun.
Cool.
And and I actually got to get a signature. Or did I get a signature? Yeah, I did. from Kelly Sue DeConnick, who was there with, and Matt Fraction was also there. So it was kind of cool. It was nice that they had it was all comics, which is kind of different from most of the cons. So that was fun.
Yeah. I gotta get there one day.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
I think I've
Hopefully.
only met a couple of
Way things will shape up, I should be able, I'm not gonna plan to get a table for any shows, but I definitely would love to just show up and work the crowd or something. So anyway, I guess we'll call this an episode. It's really tame compared to last week's.
I think I don't think anything will ever compare to last week's.
No.
I'm still very, very sorry I instigated all of that. I was only talking about
you
the
were
film.
you were just that little like stick that was waiting to be put on fire, and then me and Ben were just like, "Oh, come here."
It was just a film reference. You know, I did tag you all in the film reference since then, actually. Just to prove it does exist. It wasn't.
Nobody has like commented me or direct messaged me about it. It's like, you know, I know people have watched it.
Nobody wants to admit.
Nobody wants to.
They're like, the first like 30 minutes to an hour were just fine, but then that last like 30 minutes, didn't happen. No, thank you.
Oh, it was just Les's.
It was fine.
Great.
Oh, Les with his chicken.
Yeah.
Chicken with a chainsaw.
Chicken and a chainsaw, yeah.
So, we'll be doing episode 30 next Sunday. I'll probably do it late again. This one's middle of the day, which works out for me today because, you know, I'm so burnt out from this week, and the road trip we took yesterday was half our day. I think a restful evening, late afternoon, evening, is just what the doctor ordered for me and my gal. But yeah, next week I promised an intense episode, and you want to find out by showing up. So
An
want
intense
to
episode.
say goodbye, everybody. Websites.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye,
Go
everybody.
Carrie.
What's that?
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Yeah,
No links. I'll throw them in the description. We can do it later. Yeah. All right. Take care, everybody. Thanks for watching the show. Like, comment, share with your friends, your enemies, your family, whatever. Love you all. See you next week.